Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 18, episode 18 of Holistic Movement with Rob. I've got my toe spacers on. If you tuned in last week, you saw that I reintroduced these toe spacers. I've been wearing them for hours at a time, and they feel wonderful. I feel so much spaciousness in my feet, and I'm not exaggerating. It's quite amazing. I highly recommend getting a pair. I recommended them last week, but I recommend them again. And they're super cheap. You can get these cheapos on Amazon for $3.99 or something. But I'll include a link for some that are actually a lot better that I need to order. A little bit more expensive, but they're worth it. And maybe you see my trusty pelvis here and a ball. We're going to continue on the vein of the feet. We'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the word nostalgia. Why nostalgia? So I'm reading Peter Levine's book In an Unspoken Voice. It's about trauma and how we deal with physical and emotional trauma. And he brings up the word nostalgia. Nostalgia was used during the American Civil War for soldiers that had basically shell shock or the trauma that they dealt with during the war and after the war. And the word nostalgia, I was looking into the etymology, the origin of the word nostalgia. It's super interesting. It's from the Greek nostros algos, which means to return home to pain, basically, because algos means pain. Nostros means to go back home. And I was thinking about this ever since I read it about a week ago intensely, and how that we have nostalgia for not only going back to painful parts in our life, but also to pleasurable experiences. And they're both forms of disassociation to get us away from feeling our body now. And the reason why I bring this up is because in some positions that we do, using rollers and balls, you're going to experience some physical pain. This will produce, indubitably, an emotional response. Maybe some of you won't feel an emotional response. I'm not trying to push it. I'm not trying to convince you to feel an emotional response. But if you do, and I won't go into that, that's another subject. But if you do, don't be surprised that some nostalgia may come up, and welcome it. Then your body may have a physical response of shaking, of letting this out. It's a need of your central nervous system and your unconscious to let go of this past tension. Please welcome it. I will bring this up again and again in future episodes. I'm a big believer in this. Not only believer, I've seen it. I believe it. I am a believer because I've seen it thousands of times working on clients. And it's kind of an exorcism, actually, of release of past tension. So just to bring that into your awareness. But let's get into the feet. So last week, we went into releasing the sides of the feet, the lateral portion of the feet, because a lot of people walk in external rotation and the big toe gets pulled that way. So I thought that we would release now the bottom of the feet, and then in later episodes, we'll go into activating the big toe. So my upper body may go out of frame here, and that's okay. I just want to concentrate on the bottom of the feet, but I'm going to show you, I'll turn to this camera to kind of show you what we're going to do. If you don't have one of these, this is a lacrosse ball, but please go grab a tennis ball, or can't think of anything else. Tennis ball. Just grab a tennis ball. Anyway, so this area right here, mainly from, don't get it on the calcaneus, that's the heel bone, or the bones right here, especially the sesamoid bone here. But this is all fair game, or all this area, okay? Show you from this angle too, okay? So that area. So I'm going to stand up, and don't mind me if I go out of frame. We're mainly concentrating on the foot. So I'm first going to get below these bones right here, okay? And I'm going to keep my heel on the floor. I don't know what else I was going to say there. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to keep my heel bone on the floor just as the fulcrum. And the only reason I'm moving my foot on the ball, because you see this a lot. I call this noodling. I brought this up before. Okay, it doesn't help at all. And actually, it makes the central nervous system guard, meaning freeze. And so instead, the only reason we're moving the ball is to find a point that's stuck because we're trying to create space within the foot. So then you have better distribution of weight with your feet and you have better balance, and that sends a neurological message up through the whole spine and the rest of the body that you're balanced. So I found a spot. Now, what I'm going to do, keeping my heel on the floor, I'm going to use my whole body and exert pressure downward into that spot. I'm going to stay with it. And remember, I was talking about the word nostalgia, bringing me back to the house of pain. It sounds like a rap song. I'm experiencing pain. I'm experiencing some pain, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to welcome it. I'm going to let my foot melt on this ball. And I'm going to do a body scan right now and feel if there are any other parts of my body that are tensing up. And my left butt cheek was tensing up. I'm going to turn this way for this camera. So I'm relaxing my left butt cheek. And I'm relaxing my pelvic floor. My pelvic floor just tensed up. And I'm just holding that for a little bit. And now it's letting go. Okay, and then I'm going to move the ball and I'm going to move it to another spot. Right here in the middle of my foot, the connection of my tibialis anterior, my tibialis posterior, and my fibularis. And I'll put a picture of them there, where those meeting points are. Okay. It's basically the first metatarsal where it starts out. And I believe the cuneiform. I could be wrong. Okay. Now you notice, I don't know if you can see this from this camera angle, but my heel is off the floor. Now if you need to use a wall, maybe get near a wall and for balance, please do that. Okay. I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to breathe into it. And my pelvic floor just tensed again, so now I'm relaxing it. I'm going to show you from this angle here, turning right to there, and letting it melt. And now it's decreasing. Okay, now I'm going to keep my toes, my toes on the floor for balance, and then I'm going to get near the heel bone, the calcaneus there. Ooh, and I just found a nice tasty spot. Delicioso. And I'm going to sink into that and melt into that. And now it's decreasing. So you may want to spend a lot more time with this. We're not going to spend that much time. I'm going to release that, and I'm just going to stand and notice what I feel here. And I notice that my left foot feels a lot flatter on the floor than my right foot. I feel like my right arch is higher. So I'm going to switch to my right arch, and I'm going to explore around. Ooh, and I found a spot right on that spot where those three muscles I was just talking about meet. Maybe you can see it from this angle. I'm going to keep my heel on the floor, and I'm using my whole body weight to push in. You don't have to exert so much. If you feel that you're pulling away, that you're tensing, your face is tensing, your shoulders are tensing, maybe you're giving yourself too much pressure. Not only in this aspect, but probably in the rest of your life, because I know I do. I want my parents to be proud of me. I know they are, actually. It only took 52 years, but I think they are. They never watch these. I need validation. I need more validation. Okay, pushing in. And my pelvic floor tensed again. So I'm just relaxing that. And boom, right when I relaxed my pelvic floor, that spot just gave away and just melted. Okay, and then I'm going to move. Ooh, and crack, crack. Nice. And then I'm moving more to the outside edge of the foot. You find spots wherever they are, find them, stay with them, melt into them, sink into them. And I'm relaxing my pelvic floor again because it just tensed up again. Maybe for you, it's your jaw or your shoulders. And breathe into that. Relax into that. Okay, I'm going to take that ball away. Ooh, now I've got more surface area for the bottom of my foot. On the right. On the right. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to lie on my back and I'm going to move my pelvis here. I'm going to relax here and just let that radiate up to my whole body. And just breathe into that. Okay, let's bend our right knees. We're going to roll over again. Come on up. And the reason why I got this pelvis here is because that's the next part that we're going to do. So let me talk a little bit about the glute medius. That's this muscle here. So we have the anterior and posterior fibers of the glute med. I'll probably put a picture up there as well, but this is where the posterior one is. And this area, the reason why we're going to do some ball release here, and if you don't have a bigger ball, maybe find a softball, even a tennis ball, or even that lacrosse ball, but you can buy these too, okay? The reason why we're using this is because this is a super compressed area for most people. I thought of this because this week I've been working on a few clients that just have some major back problems and hip problems and leg problems, feet problems, because this posterior glute med becomes so compressed and it'll actually pull your femur into an external rotation. It can also hike this hip up and compress the quadratus lumborum, the area between your rib cage and your pelvis, and can cause lower back problems. And for me recently, I've had some just tightness here, mainly because of weakness, because I've been so freaking busy working on people since I got back from Europe, and so I have to spend a lot of time just releasing this. So I thought we'd get into this. So you can probably see from that camera, I'm going to place the ball right here, okay? And we're just going to lie on our forearms. I'm going to bend my knees, okay? Hopefully you can see that there, all right? And I'll turn to this camera too, so you can see it maybe a little bit better. And I found a spot immediately. Now, where did I find it? I found it right here, near the sacrum. Now, this also influences the sacroiliac joints, whether they're holding or not. It can also pull your pelvis into a rotation, which torques your lower back. There's so many issues that can happen from tightness, compression here, okay? And so I found that spot. Now, I'm going to move the fibers of it by bringing my knee into external rotation and then bringing it back. And I can feel those fibers move, okay? Now, one thing I can do also is just lie on it and stay with it and use my exhale to release that tension. I was holding my left leg in tension, so I'm relaxing that, letting that drop. And I'm going to move the ball because I just let that go. I'm moving more to the outer side, the lateral side there. So I'm moving more here, and I found a spot. And so I'm just going to lie down and breathe into this. Now, again, this video may be too short for you, meaning that you may want to spend more time on this. Pause the video, spend more time with it. Your body needs to release this compression. All this past compression from sitting for too damn long in cars, in front of a computer, maybe in front of the TV. Okay, I'm going to get off that. I'm going to lie down, move my mic there, and breathe into that. Okay, let's do the other side. So I'm going to roll over just a little bit, Show you from this angle. Let me move my mic here. Okay. And you notice when I did that, I was tensing my jaw. I'm doing one of those, when kids like. So now I'm relaxing my jaw. Ooh, and I found that spot. And I'm going to relax into that and breathe into it. And that's letting go. How is that letting go? I'm using my exhale, which is the link to the parasympathetic nervous system, which means relaxation, digestion, shitting. And I'm just, and now that's a huge spot for me. Wow. And I'm just going to. Sorry, I'm holding the mic here. And I'm trying to relax my shoulders. And that's a major spot for me. So I'm just sinking into it. You've probably found maybe more than a few, excuse me, more than a few spots. Pause the video. Stay with them. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to take that ball away. I'm going to lie down. We need to move on. We got some exercises we got to do. So let's rest here for a little bit and let that integrate. Let the nervous system just accept these new patterns that you just created of decompression. Okay, let's continue strengthening that glute med and other muscles as well, which I'll go into. So let's roll over to our right hand side, and this one I call the pissing dog. Yeah, pretty visceral, yeah. Peeing. I'm not a big fan of using the word pee. I use the word piss because I'm a man. Okay, so let me show you from a few angles here. Okay, so what we're going to do basically is an isometric strengthening of the glute med, but also the glutes, also the adductors because of the stabilization of the leg here. So let me show you from this angle first. Okay, we're going to start by stabilizing the right leg. So I'm going to engage my right glutes. Then I'm going to make sure that my hands are in line with my shoulders and that my pelvis is in a proper position. So let me show you from this side so you can kind of see here. We want to find neutral for our pelvis. Now, everyone's pelvis position is a little bit different. You can either have a posterior tilt or an anterior tilt. You could also maybe have some tilts or rotations in there, but we won't go into that now. So how do we find neutral for our pelvis? Well, let's go to the extreme. So let's come into an anterior tilt and then come into a posterior tilt. And then can you find the middle ground of those two? Okay. Usually the rule of thumb for me when I talk to people is if I can help them figure out if their pelvis is in more of an anterior tilt or posterior tilt is you do the opposite. But let's find neutral, okay? And can't go wrong with that. So go to those two extremes and then find the middle point of those two, all right? Then what we're going to do, I'll show you from this angle so you can see from this camera. I'm going to stabilize with the right leg. And I'm going to, this is male dog, I'm going to lift this left knee up to the side. Now when I do that, we don't want to let the right pelvis deviate and shift to the right. So we got to keep that neutral. And we do that by stabilizing using the glutes, okay, other muscles as well. And then you got to stabilize with that opposite hand. Now, if you're able to bring that left knee up higher, okay, give you more area to piss there, okay, great. But once you start about halfway, now I don't know if you can feel that, but I can feel this isometric strengthening of my left glute med there. Okay, and we're going to stay for about maybe 30 seconds. We've already stayed for about 15, maybe even longer. Okay, and I totally forgot to engage my right leg, so I'm tightening those right glutes. Okay, and then we're going to come back slowly. Relax there. Now, I don't know if you noticed, probably from that camera angle, my pelvis did shift a little bit to the right. It's okay if it deviates a little bit, but try not to let it shift tremendously. So I'm going to engage my left leg and my left glutes. I'm going to stabilize. I'm going to bring my right leg up. Strengthen that isometrically. So we're not only working the leg that lifts up to the side, but also the left leg as well. And I'm tightening my left butt cheek. And this side's a little bit higher because my right lats are a little bit more compressed. Don't forget to breathe. I haven't brought it up in a while, but we want that circumferential breathing. And I'm trying to keep my pelvis in the center. I just realized that it was deviated to the left, shifted to the left. And then I'm going to bring that leg down. Okay, now, which side for you do you feel that was a little bit more difficult? Do that side again. I'm going to show you from this angle. I'm going to show you my butt. Okay, and so for me, I felt like my left side's a little bit weaker. So I'm going to engage my right glutes. I'm going to bring this left leg up. And I'm going to, and it's able to come up a little bit higher than the other leg, but my left glute med is weaker. Okay, and I'm making sure that my pelvis is not shifted and making sure my head's in a good neutral position, my neck as well. I'm closing my eyes and then I'm concentrating on my breath. Okay, let's come on back. That's probably more than 30 seconds. Okay, and then we're going to lie on our backs and we're going to rest here. Breathe into that. And then just feel the effects. I feel my glutes turned on. Not only my glute med, but my glute max, my glute medius, and my minimus. There are 3. They all are important. Keep resting. Okay. Final position. We're going to get into, I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to roll over to my left-hand side. Now, this final position is about strengthening the lower trapezius. Okay, now I'll tell you why we're getting into this. A couple days ago, I had a client, and he lifts a lot of weights and has a lot of upper shoulder problems, shoulder blade problems, neck, it radiates up to his skull. And I was looking at his collarbones. Okay. Now, if you're unsure whether your upper traps are overdeveloped, stand in front of a mirror and look at your collarbone, the positions of your collarbones. Now, if they're like this, okay, that means the traps, which insert in the front, actually, right here, that means that they're overdeveloped and your shoulders are like this. And I don't know if you can see this, but you see how when my shoulders go up like that, my collarbones go like that into a triangle shape, like a V. That means that your upper traps are overdeveloped. And more than likely, that means that your lower traps are weak. So it can cause mid-back problems and cause crowding in the shoulders, just like this, okay? So how do we bring those shoulder blades down? Well, one, we have equal distribution of weight between the upper and lower traps. And you see this a lot probably on YouTube. How do you strengthen lower traps? Rows and awesome. Get into those rows. Kettlebells also, okay? I won't go into those today, but can they be done conscientiously and really turning on those lower traps when you do those rows? Please be conscious when you do those. Otherwise, we can do just an easy position that also strengthens the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie in kind of a prone right here, and hopefully my mic won't be askew, okay? And I'm going to lift my head up just so my mic won't be squashed. So I more than likely I put a graph up there showing the upper and lower traps here. Now, if you're unsure where the lower traps are, think of the inferior, let me come up and show you. Think of the inferior border of your shoulder blades, okay? Now, right here, let's see if I can engage my lower traps here. Okay, so you can kind of see them there. More than likely you can, right here, okay? Now, how do we engage those? Well, we're gonna lie prone like we just did, and I'm going to pretend there's a string attached right here in my mid-back, right below the shoulder blades, okay? And remember those old G.I. Joe dolls? You probably don't. Probably you're young. I don't know. Anyway, any kind of doll that has a string in the back. And you pull the string, and then you let go, and then when you let go, they say, "Kill the commies." It's my old joke. Anyway, I'm going to pretend that string is pulling my mid-back upward. Now I'm going to tighten my butt and my quads to stabilize everything below. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to inhale, come up. I'm going to relax my upper shoulders. And I'm going to squeeze those shoulder blades, the lower border of the shoulder blades, inward towards my spinal cord. And then I'm going to exhale, I come back down. Okay? Tighten the butt and the quads. Inhale up, relax the upper shoulders, and really put your attention right into that area and squeeze. And then exhale, come on down. Okay? Now, I'm doing this with my eyes closed, mainly because I want to visualize that spot. So, tightening the butt and the quads. Inhale up, squeeze, and then exhale, come on down. Let's do a few more. Inhale up, maintain that spinal position, squeeze those lower traps towards the spine. Exhale, come down. Inhale up, squeeze those lower traps. Touching that area right there. And then come on down. Inhale up, squeeze. Exhale, come on down. Inhale up, squeeze. Exhale, come on down. Let's do one more. Inhale up, squeeze. Exhale, come on down. Okay, let's lie on our backs. Let's rest. I think we're all done. Now, for me, I feel that area that we just activated. I feel the sensations, the blood flow, the muscle fibers, the connective tissue just turn on. It feels warm. Temperature change. Sorry, I keep adjusting my mic there. Okay. Now, that area that you just activated, hopefully you feel a similar sensation. Maybe you feel a different one. That's okay too. You don't have to feel exactly what I feel. But see if you can let that area just drop into the floor. And let's rest here. And I'll see you next week. Keep falling.